So you're gonna have to bear with me because there's someone mowing the lawn and I don't know why I started the video right here, right now. When someone's mowing their lawn, but oh well. Okay, so I closed that garage door and opened that one. And then he stopped mowing his lawn. So just what you gotta deal with when you make videos. I'm sure the thumbnail and the title of the video tells you exactly what we're gonna talk about in today's video. And the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I was in the same position as most of you guys possibly watching this. So we're gonna talk about exactly how much it cost me and be as transparent as possible, naming everything that I spent money on to do the 5-speed manual swap in my Toyota Chaser. Everything that I got wasn't brand new. It was parts sourced from Victoria, parts sourced from Australia, secondhand parts from all over the world. Only some brand new parts from Japan. Barely any though. First thing I'm going to talk about is the choice of gearbox. It is a R154 5-speed. They actually came in this car standard as an option, so you could get an automatic chaser or a manual chaser. Mine was obviously an automatic, so that's why I manual swapped it, because who wants to drive an automatic chaser? Not me. Before we get started on the price list and talk about everything that I spent money on, let's talk about why you would manual swap your Toyota Chaser. First reason, it's more fun. Second reason, it's more fun. Third reason, much more fun. Obviously, having a manual transmission is more hands-on, you're more connected to the car, gives you more to do when you're driving the car, so it makes it more fun in my opinion. Now, there is nothing wrong with having an automatic chaser, it just, you won't get that sort of connection when you drive it. It's gonna be awesome at being what it is, just sort of like a daily get-around car that's super easy to drive. The next reason is that you'll get more power. If you're making 300 kilowatts on an automatic chaser, you might make 330 kilowatts in a manual chaser, and the reason for that is because there's drivetrain loss in an automatic transmission. So in an automatic transmission, your power is going through a torque converter, so you're moving fluid, and the fluid has to move the drive shaft and move the wheels. So there is some power loss in that fluid, because fluid is fluid, and it doesn't, there's no, of course, like all these good videos go, we have a little price list. I'm gonna go off that. It's honestly quite depressing to look at, knowing how much I spent on this thing, but you know what? Gotta do it for the video. First thing we're gonna talk about is the R154 gearbox. Now, the one that I bought was off some random dude on Marketplace, and he gave it to me bare. It didn't have any of the inspection plates, no clutch, no slave cylinder lines or anything. He sold the gearbox to me for $2,100. It was a big risk for me because I bought it not knowing the condition of it at all. He told me that it was reconditioned, something that I just had to take his word for because I never got papers actually given to me. So it was a big risk, but it was a decent price. Brand new from Toyota, you can get them for, I'm gonna throw a number out here, 3.5K. So I did save a little bit of money not buying a brand new one, but I did take in a little bit of that risk. But that's just something you gotta do to save some money. Now, of course, moving that transmission is the clutch. The next thing I got was a twin plate Exceedi Carbon D clutch. Now, I bought this only because I wanted to have a clutch that would handle the power that I wanted to make in this car, but also be very comfortable to drive. Now, I didn't have to get a twin plate clutch. I could have just got a 6-puck button clutch, and apparently they're still pretty easy to drive and all, but I got it for a really good deal. I spent $1,500 on the twin plate clutch. They retail for like nearly 4.5 grand, so I think I got a pretty good deal there. Driving around in the clutch is super nice, super easy to drive, super comfortable. The only downside in getting a twin plate clutch is, of course, the rattle. It's so bad, in fact, that I thought the car was broken in the first place. I messaged the guy that I bought it off. I was like, is that normal? Is this rattle normal? And yes, to everyone who's questioning it, it's totally normal, and you don't need to worry about that little rattle that it makes. It's not a little rattle, it's huge. Because the twin plate clutch is carbon as well, it absorbs all the impact so that the drivetrain doesn't get shocked, so the transmission doesn't get shocked when you let go of the clutch. So it absorbs some of that impact. You're less likely to blow up a gearbox, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Pretty sure I'm right. Don't take my word for it. I'm not a mechanic. So you can see where I'm sort of going with this: transmission, clutch, and then clutch pedal. So I'm sort of just following the way back to the driver. So let's talk about clutch pedal, the thing that you push to make the clutch work. I was super fortunate to be contacted from a friend that told me that I could get one of these brand new from an importer. So that person imported one for me for $150 straight from Japan, brand new. So I got a brand new clutch pedal in this thing. Feels great, feels awesome. 150 bucks for a clutch pedal. I'm gonna have to take you in the car for the rest of this because it sort of makes more sense for me to do it. So let's do that. So with pedals, you don't really need a brake pedal as well to do this manual swap. You can just cut the automatic transmission, brake pedal right down in the center. I'll throw up a clip of me doing that. It was incredibly intimidating, but I managed to do that completely free of charge, of course. So that set me back $0. We'll get back to pedals in a minute, but the next thing I want to talk about is the shifter setup and everything around here. Luckily, the guy that sold me the Gearbox gave me the OEM shifter, so that's what I used in this swap. The OEM shifter feels great. It's fantastic. That didn't cost me a single thing. This piece right here, this carbon piece, I don't know if it's real carbon. Please let me know if it is, because that's something I want to find out. But this carbon piece right here with the traction control and snow mode, that was already included with this as well because it was bought off some guy in Melbourne. 150 bucks for that, not too bad. Underneath that is a shifter boot as well. That's something I got from Japan, brand new. I'm not going to take this all apart. I'm sure I got a clip of it somewhere. Brand new, that cost me $150 as well. Now, underneath that boot, there is another thing. It's called the tunnel hump for the manual shifter. So you can buy these on eBay. There's a person that sells them, great quality, fiberglass piece, comes to your door in about a couple of days if you're in Australia. We're gonna call it the manual JZX100 tunnel hump. That set me back $105. Incredibly cheap for something that does so well at covering this massive hole that you have to cut to get this R154 gearbox in. So definitely worth the money. And look at it, everything that's together right now looks OEM, looks like it was meant to be. And that's what I love about this whole swap. Is that Project DC2?
Ooh, damn. Fresh plate, bro. He got it for you.
Thanks for that, dude.
Oh, good, bro. Dude, it fits so nice.
It does. It does.
What's meant to be.
Not bad, not bad. Alright, so onto the engine bay. That was pretty much it in the interior of the car, besides the solid bushings, which are completely optional, so I'm not going to bother throwing up the price in there. Now, there's really only a couple things that need to be done when you do a manual swap on these cars. All you need, of course, is the master clutch cylinder, the line that goes all the way from the master clutch cylinder all the way down to the slave, and of course the slave cylinder itself. So if you look right here, this piece right here is the master clutch cylinder. This set me back $100. I got it off some random guy in the Facebook pages. You can find them brand new for about $200-300, I think, but they're not going to be OEM, they're going to be aftermarket, but I'm sure they do the job fine. Now there's a line that goes all the way down from the master clutch cylinder all the way down to the slave cylinder. That set me back $20. Got it off some dude that was just getting rid of his R154 and had that lying around. The line travels all the way down from the master clutch all the way down to the slave cylinder. That slave cylinder cost me $100 as well. I also got it off some random guy on the Facebook marketplaces. Facebook Marketplace is your best friend with this sort of stuff. You could also try Gumtree, or what's that one called in America? Craigslist, I think? I don't know. Most of these parts you can import from Japan, brand spanking new, but obviously if you want to save some costs, because you'll see the total price at the end is quite large, if you want to save some costs there, you just got to go secondhand. The next thing that we can't really point and talk about is of course the stuff inside the gearbox, or the stuff connecting the clutch onto the engine itself. We bought some ARP flywheel bolts because obviously you can't use the stock bolts with the automatic flex plate with the new clutch or whatever. So the ARP flywheel bolts cost us $83.50. Highly recommended when you're doing any sort of clutch replacement to just change the bolts on the flywheel if you're ever going to take that off, or the flex plate or whatever. Just gives you that sort of peace of mind when you're rolling through the gears or banging the gears that nothing's going to come out and you'll be all good to go. So I'm not going to name every single part here because there was just a whole bunch of miscellaneous sort of items that I bought from Japan. Like there was some clutch cover plates that go on the gearbox itself, just sort of like holders that go in different places and different lines and all that. Because I bought most of that stuff brand new from Japan, that set me back a whopping $320 on just random miscellaneous items. I think I got some of them left. I didn't actually use all of it. Oh, because my gearbox came completely bare, I needed to get those inspection plates. I needed to get the clutch fork as well. I needed to get the bit where it rotates on the clutch fork, whatever that's called. We also bought all the stuff for an OEM clutch setup as well. So I have like a bearing here that was going to be used on an OEM clutch, but we decided to go twin plate, so I didn't use that. Just random things like this, which I thought you needed to get because I didn't know that the fork came with this little bit, so I bought that as well. I bought all like the different bearings and like circlips and all that to go on an OEM clutch, but I didn't really need any of that, but I'm going to include that in the price list anyway because it's a little bit of a screw up. But yeah, $320. Oh, so I forgot one thing in the interior of the car as well. So when you put a manual transmission in an automatic transmission car, because all the pedals are different, you also have to change out the footrest as well. I don't know if my camera's going to show this very well because it's really bad in low light, but we'll get the phone here as well. That's a manual footrest. You don't need it. You don't even have to run one. But the automatic footrest, which I have just over here, is bigger than the manual one. And the reason why it's bigger than the manual one is because you don't have a clutch pedal there. And because you don't have a clutch pedal there, means you can have more space for your foot to rest, and that's why the automatic transmission one is bigger. You need to get a manual transmission footrest or completely delete the footrest because you're gonna have problems with your feet. You know, you'll try to put your foot somewhere or things are just gonna get in the way. I don't know why I didn't just say that at the start. So I was just filming this video, and look who I get a call from. Matt, say hello. What happened, dude? What happened?
Yeah, bro, I'll show you what happens.
Oh no. Alright.
It's still going.
Oh.
There it goes.
There's no way you can limp it home? No? Alright.
Well, it turns on and dies immediately.
Oh no, alright, I'll come get you. I'll be there in like 5. Alright, another little intervention. We're gonna go pick up my mate whose car broke down. We'll do our mate a solid. Door. Oh no, what happened, dude?
See, it might look like a BMW, but don't be fooled. It's actually a clown car.
Dude, how many times has this happened in the past like couple weeks?
What, this week? Twice. Well, like, it's not, look, they thought they fixed it, but they didn't, obviously.
That's so frustrating. Damn, true meaning of the Benki sticker, guys.
It's good though, the sticker. We're gonna get one.
BenkiSpec.com. Any more? Any more? Back it off, back it off. So there's really only one more piece to the puzzle, and that's the tail shaft. So with an automatic transmission, the tail shaft in a Chaser is shorter than what it needs to be for the manual swap. So you need to get it extended by 50 millimeters. I'm pretty sure it's, yeah, extended by 50 millimeters. So what you could do is source a manual tail shaft wherever you can find one. I don't know where you're gonna find one, but I couldn't find one. Or you can get it modified. And to get it modified, it cost me $320. Quite expensive, but there's a lot of work involved. They have to take the tail shaft apart, chop it, extend it, then balance it. So it makes sense why it's quite a bit of money. There are a few other little maintenance items that I didn't include in the swap cost, because that's up to you whether you want to do it or not. There's things like different seals, mainly only one seal, the rear main seal. So I'm not going to bother including those prices. So originally I calculated this price list a little bit incorrect, and it was lower than what I thought, and I wasn't too upset with the price list, but then I added the tail shaft cost, and damn, it brings us to a total of $5,158.50. Oof. Was it worth it, you're asking? 100%. Absolutely. 110%. I'm so happy with the car. When I first bought the car, the original intention was to manual swap it because driving this thing automatic, again, having an automatic Chaser is totally fine, but to me, it was just boring as hell. It was literally comparable, and I know there's comments that like to make fun of me saying how cars are like Camrys and all that, but it's literally like driving a Camry. It's the same thing. Like the way it moves and everything, it was just automatic Camry. So yes, it was a lot of money, but it was an investment because it's an investment in my happiness. All jokes aside, seriously have so much fun driving this thing now, and we're only getting to the start of this. So if you've made it this far, awesome. I've got some stuff to show off to you really quick. By the time this video is uploaded, we are selling jet tags on that new website. I'm gonna do a full explanation of what's going on with my brand and how everything's going, but www.benkispec.com, the good old Benki meme that we have made, we have some jet tags right here. 4 different colors. We've got the original Benki color, nice and yellow. These things are sick, and if you have a yellow one, you're awesome, but the other ones are cool too. We've got the red and black, the red and white, the black and white, cool. I'll explain the meaning of these Japanese characters in another video because we went through a little bit of variation in the jet tag meanings and stuff. So I hope that helps a bunch of you deciding on whether or not you should spend the money on doing a manual swap on your Chaser. Like I said, the prices will vary if you source parts for cheaper than I did or buy brand new parts, which will be more expensive. But overall, honestly, definitely worth it. Like I said, driving an automatic Chaser versus a manual Chaser, so much different, so much more fun driving a manual one. And honestly, we could have done it even a little bit cheaper. It's just that it was my first time doing it, so I try to do it sort of semi-right. If you're new to the channel and you want to see more Chaser content, please hit that subscribe button, like the video if you liked it. Make sure you check out the new website. And you know what? Let me know if you would manual swap your Chaser knowing the price of it now. if you do have one. All right, catch you all in the next one.